top income earner, diamond in the business, and totally excited about sharing with others about how this platform not only helped me to get out of debt, but put me in the life of thriving. And that's what we want to do today. We've helped many others be able to step into that space of empowerment. And with no further ado, tonight leading the conversation is Dr. Bob Rakowski, who is a world-class nutritional expert, a world-class kinesiologist, chiropractor, structural expert. He's the doctor to the doctors. And not only that, but he's the #1 growing team in the Organo platform worldwide. So if anybody knows everything health, everything business, everything leadership, everything about creating the life of your dreams, it's Dr. Bob Rakowski, who is leading our wonderful call tonight. With no further ado, I'm going to turn it back to you, Dr. Bob. Thank you so much for gracing us with your time. And, take it away. It's all yours.
Well, Diane, first, Merry Christmas. Welcome back from Italy. Congratulations on creating such a beautiful life and sharing treasures all over the world. Now, I'm going to start with a story. And, my life started out pretty good when Organo was introduced to me. My son came home. He was in high school. He was 18 years old. He said, "Dad, I want you to try this coffee. And by the way, I think you should sell it in your office." And when I realized it was infused with reishi Ganoderma, I said, "Awesome, I'll sell it in the office." But Jacob said, "Well, Dad, you should probably also build the business." And I said, "Yeah, no way." But there was a few things that really created my paradigm shift. And one was seeing him essentially become financially free by 23. So at age 21, there he is on an Organo stage. That is his legitimate vertical leap. And there was an award he won called the 100K ring. And we can't make income claims, but let's just say that represented a very substantial amount of money earned in a single calendar year. And that number's gone up each passing year. But every once in a while, life gives us a little bit of a wake-up call. And I tell people if it was a shark in the water, it would have been less distressing, because my wake-up call was an X-ray report that looked really, really bad. The radiologist saw something on it he didn't like. He said, "Look, I'm going to recommend a bone scan." And go back to 2014. This came across a fax. That's actually a picture of the fax. And I got the fax just as I was leaving town. And I thought, "Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This guy thinks he sees cancer in my body. That would really suck." I would have thought that it would have been impossible. But literally just 2 years before that, I lost my best friend to cancer. He had a melanoma, skin cancer. By the time it was diagnosed, it spread through his brain and body. And it wasn't a good ending. Well, the good news is this is a good ending for me. It wasn't cancer. It was just something that they saw on the X-ray. But I had a whole week to think about, okay, what am I going to do if my time here is short? And I remember this wisdom: your network is your net worth. So, the first question I want to ask you is, do you know that to be true? And the second question is, are you open to this working for you? Because if you are, we are ready, willing, and able to partner with you to, do all that we can to support you. You still need to do the work. You need to learn the skills. But Diane, I'm going to go back to you. How much networking and network marketing experience did you have before you and I had a conversation about 8 years ago? Oh, you're muted, I think.
Yes, absolutely zero, Dr. Bob. Nothing. Zilch. Nothing. I had no idea what I said yes to. I just said yes to your leadership, because I knew that whatever you do, and take this word for it, guys, on this call, Dr. Bob is very, very humble man. Everything, him, his family, his wife, their power couple, everything they touch, they absolutely crush. So I just said yes to hanging on and following a mentor that knew where he was going.
Well, let's go back to even before me. When Jacob signed up, one of his, mentors said, "Okay, Jacob, you know what? You're going to want to basically share coffee with people. And the more people you share with, well, guess what? The more customers you're going to get, and ultimately the more business builders." So Jacob would go to the mall. Now, this was pre-pandemic, so I was impressed. He was a senior in high school that would typically wear a T-shirt and maybe some pants that had holes in it. That was the style. I wouldn't give my kid holy pants, but you know how that goes. And he put on a shirt and tie. That impressed me. And he went to the mall, and his goal was to give away 10 coffee samples every single day. He'd walk up to people, he'd smile at them, and he'd say, "You know what? You have a beautiful smile. Can I ask you a question? Do you drink coffee or tea?" And they would say, "Well, yeah, of course, doesn't everybody?" He says, "Look, I have a healthy coffee and tea company. I can get paid a commission if you'll take a few samples and answer a few questions. How does it taste? How does it make you feel?" And you know what? He could give away his 10 samples. Now, the first day, maybe he was at the mall for 10 hours. And then maybe by the end of the week, he realized that if he went at lunchtime, actually had hot water, made him samples there, that would be better yet. So in an hour a day, he'd sample 10 people. And how did that translate? Well, that $100,000 Ring Award at age 21, essentially retired at age 23. He and his wife stay-at-home parents with 2 beautiful daughters. This business model can lead to anything that you want. But I was a profound skeptic, as was Dianne. Even when I saw Jacob succeed, I thought, nah, let me look into this. So here's what I'm going to encourage people to do. If you want to understand the business model, there's a documentary called Rise of the Entrepreneur, and you're going to see 25 global experts in business, in finance, in personal development, in mentoring, and they're all going to tell you the same thing. Network marketing is the best risk-benefit business model around. You join our team for $50, you buy some initial products, and how much can you make? Well, for some people, it's been tens of millions and increasing. So Dianne, I want to ask you, when, where, why, and how did the paradigm shift happen for you?
I said yes to the business, but I didn't even know what I was saying yes to. I just said yes to your leadership. It truly didn't change for me. Like, I didn't grow into the understanding of the business model fully until I went to my first GoPro event. Honestly, that's where it happened. I mean, it happened in small increments. Yes, I was listening to podcasts. Yes, I was reading books and I was grasping it, but it just hit me in the face. Like it was a slap in the head when I went to the GoPro event, my very first year, and everything changed after that. My business went from like 0.5% to 100. It was the gasoline on the fire of the little flame that it was lit. It just dumped on it. And the reason why, Dr. Bob, was because GoPro was a third-party, independent platform that taught around the profession, not around organo, because I was always skeptical about the company trying to brainwash me, right? Like, well, they're going to want to make me believe all this stuff. But when I saw speaker after speaker, influencer after influencer, you know, top mentors of many different kinds around the world on that stage, for 3 days, it was undisputable, a proven profession. And all I could do was sit there going, OMG, we have the world's best product, the best leadership, and a wide open freaking market. Think about that, guys. That's huge.
Well, Dan, you know, I love as you talk about the best product, best leadership, because here's a simple fact. We have award-winning coffee. And I created a couple new slides and we had a technical difficulty, so I guess I don't have that one handy, but we won 2 awards for the best organic coffee in the world. And by the way, what makes ours better is a patented process by which we infuse an herb called Ganoderma into it. And I just looked at this before we got on today. Over 3,200 published medical studies going back 90 years. And here's what I'll tell you. I said, okay, well, what about Ganoderma in cancer? Over 600 studies. What about Ganoderma in immune? Over 100 studies. What about Ganoderma in diabetes? Over 100 studies. You know, you start looking this and you begin to realize that this product is absolutely for real. I had plenty of mentors throughout my career that would say, you know what, Bob, no one should drink coffee. Well, I promise you, no one ever stopped their coffee, right? We could stop their gluten, we could stop their dairy, we could get them away from sugar. We tried to take away coffee, we had a fight. That's just going to be the bottom line. People were not going to quit. But all the downsides of coffee, and by the way, there are plenty of upsides as well, they all go away and become a positive with Ganoderma within it. So I'll tell a story. You know, I shared this type of information with some of our best leaders on our team, Guy and Neely Miller, and they said, wait a minute, you're trying to tell me that if this Ganoderma in my coffee, if I drink it, I should be able to fall asleep faster, sleep deeper, longer, wake up more refreshed. I said, I'm not telling you that. The peer-reviewed medical literature is telling you that. Published studies are doing that. And Neely Miller said, okay, guess what? We're having coffee at midnight, and you're going to get an earful if we don't sleep tonight. Well, when they called the next morning, I think after 10 a.m., they said, you're not going to believe this. I can't believe the great night of sleep that I had with coffee at midnight. So absolutely amazing with Ganoderma. I always ask people, can your latte or your mocha do this? This girl lost 57 pounds just switching to an organo latte, which, by the way, Ganoderma has so many good blood sugar and fat loss benefits that you can essentially have your cake and eat it too. But Dianne, you know, you were a big part of one of the biggest put on the spot experiments that I've ever experienced. So do you want to tell the story about when I came up to Sachin Patel for Perfect Practice to lecture on Ganoderma and coffee and his little blood sugar experiment that literally put both of us on the spot? Or do you want me to tell that one?
You can tell that one, but let me tell you, it's fun to watch it live and direct because we were in a room full of the biggest skeptics, anti-sugar room that you could possibly dream of. This is a room full of naturopaths, nutritionists, health experts of every single kind. And the room, I think, had about 50 to 100 people in it. So what happened?
Well, Sachin Patel, I wasn't too worried, but I thought, okay, this is going to be quite interesting. He says, all right, I want to volunteer. And here's what you're going to volunteer for. We're going to make you a mocha. We want you to drink all of it. And by the way, we're going to attach a continuous blood glucose monitor to you. And we're going to see what happens to your blood sugar over the next couple hours. Well, amazingly enough, and I'll qualify this. He took a mid-30s-year-old healthy, fit male. Over the course of 2 hours, his blood sugar did not go up at all. It didn't budge. It didn't go up a single point. And everybody saw this, and the monitor was clear to everybody. And next thing you know, the whole room rushed to the back table to grab mocha. There were, probably the vast majority of that people hadn't put any type of sugar, anything sweet in their body for years. And the mocha was gone in a matter of moments. And 17 of those people said, you know what, I want to be business partners with you. This makes too much sense. And by the way, if it makes sense, it'll make dollars too. And this testimonial, I might even have Dr. Paul. I don't know if he's up for reading it. I don't want to put him on the spot. I saw him there, but he has a big part of this because he's maybe the closest to Alana. But if he's not able to turn on his microphone, I'm going to read it exactly as it came across. So we have a Paul, you there?
I am, absolutely. And
you want to share that?
I would. The first line says it all. You have to envision, first of all, this person is struggling to conceive, and it's amazing the power of a sample. And the response back to the person, Alana, who gave the sample was, Alana, oh my God, take it away.
All right, so here's what it says. Okay, girl, ready for story time. So Aaron and I have been trying to get pregnant for 4 years. I know my hormones and my other health issues have made it hard for me to get pregnant. So for a while, we just stopped trying as it got too hard being disappointed every month. As you introduced me to drinking the Organo coffee, as well as telling me how it can help with your hormones, fertility, and all the good stuff, I was like, okay, let's drink this stuff and try again. And girl, I'm pregnant. After a month of drinking this coffee, not only that, but drinking this stuff has helped my arthritis. It helps my sleep as I have bad insomnia. Coffee that gives you deep sleep. How about that? Thank you for introducing me to Organo. At first, I was like, okay, I'll try it, not thinking anything of it. But now I need to share it with everyone how much it has helped me. And now fast forward, we're probably 11 months later, and that picture was a few months ago, but there is the beautiful Organo baby. And here's what I'll tell you, we have a bunch of them. So, we can't make any health claims. We can't say, hey, this will help you conceive. It'll help your arthritis go away. We have this weird world that unless it's a drug, you can't make a health claim about it. But here's the deal. It is the real deal. 3,000 published medical studies, 5,000 years of human clinical use. And by the way, we put it in coffee and tea, but we didn't stop there. We put it in hot chocolate for kids. So, I had a mom, a very desperate mom, bring in a bouncing off the wall boy last week. This kid clearly had some challenges with hyperactivity and the other things. And she said, Dr. Bob, the teachers are really fed up with them. I don't want to put them on drugs. I'm desperate. Someone said, you can help. I'm here. What can you do? And I asked her, I said, well, do you want to do a little experiment? She said, why not? So we made him a hot chocolate. So first and foremost, he loved it, right? So suddenly we have a bonding experience because, okay, wait a minute, this doctor gives me hot chocolate. I think I like him. But here's what we noticed. Over the course of the next 20 minutes, this fidgety, bouncing off the wall, can't sit still, toe tapping on both sides nonstop, suddenly is sitting calm and peaceful. And I looked at mom, I said, what do you notice? She said, I don't know if I understand the question. I said, look at your son. She goes, okay, he's calm. What's going on? I said, well, what's different? She said, you gave him a hot chocolate. I said, well, it wasn't just a hot chocolate. It was the world's best hot chocolate. And by the way, if you go to our Miracle of Organo group, you're going to see plenty of testimonials on that. You'll see world-class athletes talking about the brain energy drink. If you look up NeuroTracker, this is something that's been training brains for over 2 decades, over 50 published medical studies, every demographic. It doesn't matter if you're a 6-year-old or, with attention deficit, or a 106-year-old losing your memory. It's proven across that age range and everything in between, including the elites. We've got all organic skincare, and people are waking up to the toxins that are in the environment that are creating obesity and robbing fertility. There's even an article, go look it up. Is your skincare making you fat? And you know what? You're going to find out if you're buying most skincare, it is actually shutting down your metabolism and making you fat. All organic, delicious toothpaste, amazing soap. And we even bought a travel company with over 100,000 resort locations around the world. And you know what? This is what we offer from the business model. But whenever we've been asked to talk about any type of business presentation, people say, you know what, Bob, people want to know really about 5 things. They want to know about the company, the products, the support, the timing. And then ultimately, there's that famous line, show me the money. So here, the products I've already introduced, best in class and expanding. We're talking about $1 billion a day coffee market, $1 billion a day skincare market, multiple trillion a year in terms of travel. They don't even know how to price the brain technology market. And then you look at soap and toothpaste, my gosh, multiple billions, but ours is better. The company Organo is now in their 15th year. They're operational in over 40 countries and expanding, crossed billions in sales. And the company was actually sold 4 years ago. I'm personal friends with the new CEO. And here's what he told me. He said, Bob, we are going to take this to be the giant in the industry. If you heard of Amway, they're basically $1 billion a month. Paul Caldwell said, we're going to create the strategic partnerships, and we are going to create that $1 billion plus a month company. And Dianne, I always like your wisdom. Share what your experience has been with the company, their expansion, their support, what they're willing to do to help all of us achieve our dreams.
Nothing in the world is perfect. And it's not until I started to join other masterminds, Eric Worre's mastermind, where I started to hear about other big companies and a lot of the challenges they go through, and some of the top earners that I met in that time frame that are now struggling, companies that have fallen apart. Like, it's just crazy, the drama. And I look back going, wow, our CEO honestly delivers on everything. Everything he says, it gets done. And maybe it doesn't get done tomorrow, but it's in the works. It is in the works, right? Whether it's the, branding or the products or whatever, it's getting done. Check, 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 check. And I remember having conversations with Mr. Paul Caldwell when he first jumped on board, and, they brought him in and he expanded Organo into new markets, new verticals. And I had the honor to sit with him and say, look, here's what we need. And he listened to every word and he remembers our conversation. That tells you a lot.
Well, and you know what? He is one of those guys that when you step up and deliver like you do, I mean, you've built such an amazing team. You've created a beautiful life. You're an amazing story, and you're always there for anybody that needs help. So, congratulations and thank you for that. When you earn your way to talk to the CEO, I promise you, you have his full attention, and he realizes that this business grows through people like you and I. So you start looking at support. We have a direct line to the CEO, the top people in the company. We're the top expansive team in the company. And we have a lot of different support, whether you're talking about Facebook groups, multiple opportunity meetings every single week, 3-way calls, all of that is available. But when we look at the timing, so Dianne, this is fascinating, right? You often said that you had your own personal pandemic 7 years ago. And, talk through that again, because you kind of went through that quick, and it's a big part of your story. I mean, you woke up and your whole world was changed, and suddenly you were in a position that, okay, this, I need to make money fast.
Well, when you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you keep thinking about tomorrow and how tomorrow is going to be different, and you're going to be in a different financial place, and 20 years go by and that hasn't changed. I didn't have real education around wealth building. I wasn't wealth literate at all. And most of us are not. And it wasn't until I actually joined the circle of this profession that taught me money mindset. I had no idea. Of course, I was frustrated because I was chasing my own tail. And it wasn't until I got the rug pulled out under me where I became a single mom. I wasn't expecting that. What I did know is something had to change. What I did know was that I needed the time and flexibility to be able to take care of my son, create my own hours, and have an opportunity that would allow me to really build wealth, not hit a financial ceiling I was so tired of hitting, right? And this is what kept me up at night. I could not sleep going, what in the world exists that requires no capital? No capital. Guys, anything you do out there requires a level of risk and capital. I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if it's crypto. Whatever it is, it's risk and it's capital. And I didn't have any of those. And I didn't know what it was. I just remember praying and praying and praying and just staying up at night, wondering what I could do. And asking you shall receive. I mean, you showed up out of nowhere, supposedly. And I just asked you for advice. And this is where you presented it to me. But let me tell you, it was not fun. And my life did not change. Didn't matter how good of a nutritionist I was. Didn't matter how busy my appointment book was. Financial truth, I couldn't afford half the protocols I was telling people to do. You know, what's the point in having health if you're stressed about money? Doesn't make sense. And what's the point of having money if you don't have health? So guess what? You got both on this platform. Can't say no to that.
So Dianne, I still remember that conversation like it was yesterday. And I also remember you realizing that, okay, well, I'm going to make this happen. And you know what? You made that decision so powerfully and you were so committed. I literally got on the phone and I called Kelly right after our conversation. I said, guess what? I just signed up a diamond, you know, because I had known your skill set, your drive, your passion. But when you said, look, I stayed at home and nursed my son like everybody told me I should do, but now I'm in a pinch. I need to make money fast. And I asked Dianne this question: what do you think is easier, getting a new nutrition patient or sharing a cup of coffee? And I want you to think about that compared to whatever you're asking anybody to do. Could you possibly think of anything easier to sharing a cup of coffee? And what if your coffee were organic, voted by multiple agencies as the world's best organic coffee with a patented competitive advantage? Now you've got something there, and we'll transition into the money. You know, 40 different countries in operation, 15 different years, top quality certification. This is critical to me in the demographic that I work with. When I work with professional athletes, they need this stuff to be so pure that there's no risk at all to their future, which is, you know, sometimes $100 million+ future. And what about people that are fighting for their life? Don't they deserve that same level of quality? And that's what Organo brings to the party. And when we start talking about the money, I listened to a top earner in network marketing, and he says, you know what? I always tell people there's going to be 3 phases of your business. And he said, I don't care if it's network marketing. I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if you buy a franchise. I don't even care, you know, whatever that business is, but you're going to have 3 phases. The first phase, you're going to be overworked and underpaid. And he said, I always tell people that's going to last anywhere from 2 months to 20 years. And I hope it's more like 2 months. He says, then you get to the second phase and you're going to be fairly compensated for the effort that you put in. He said, same timeline, 2 months to 20 years. And then you're going to get to a phase where you're going to be essentially underworked, overpaid. Happy to say I'm here, Dianne's here, many others on our team are here. What do we mean by that? If we look at the per hour that we're getting paid, we're getting far paid more than neurosurgeons do on an hourly rate, but we didn't have to go through the 17 combined years of undergraduate, medical school, postgraduate, residency, et cetera. And you know what? There's no limit to what we can do. The surgeon, he has a limit to how many operations he can give in a given day, but there's no limit to how many people we can sign up, nor how many people they can sign up. So the first 5,000, I tell people that ought to be pretty straightforward. If you're drinking a $2 cup a day coffee and you switch to ours, you're already going to save, you know, that $100 a month if you're just an average coffee drinker. And then the average home-based business saves over $4,000 a year on tax benefits. I don't know if Canada is the same, better, worse, however that goes, but those are the numbers here in the States. But for most people, the magic number is $500 a month. So just imagine if you had an extra $500 a month automatic, just came in like that every month, every month, every month, every month. And what I tell people is get 10 good coffee customers. Now, my son did that his first month. And here's the interesting thing. He didn't drink any coffee. He didn't have a network. He essentially didn't have any level of skills, but he was willing to go to work. He'd hand out those samples, and when people liked it, he says, you know what, you have three options. You can be a retail customer, you can be a wholesale buyer, you can get paid to consume and share the product. Plenty of people said they wanted to be a retail customer. By the time you get 10 good retail customers, you're going to be at that magic $500 a month. Now, I'll tell you, there's more ways to do it. So let's say you said, well, I want to drive Uber. Well, if you're in Toronto, it might be snowing. It might be icy. There's that risk, and there's other kinds of risks. You really don't know who you're picking up, where they want you to take you. There's a lot of issues with that, but you might work 30 hours this month and you make that $500. Well, what about next month? Guess what? You got to do it again. Another 30 hours, another 30 hours of risk. How about the month after that? Same thing. What about this? If you spend 30 hours getting 10 good customers, and I believe almost everybody can do that in their first 30 hours, now you get your $500 a month, this month, next month, every month that they continue to drink it. If you drink our product, you'd probably begin to realize we couldn't pay people to drink anything else. But once we get those 10 customers, I might just reach back to them, and not might, I did and still do. I say, look, I see you're loving our product. And they say, yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't drink anything else. Well, you know what? There's a business here. And if you think you could get 10 good customers, hey, that could be a quick $500 a month. And interestingly enough, if they are interested in building a business and expanding, 10 can become 100, can become 1,000, can become 10,000. And let me show you the real numbers on this. So Richard Bliss Brooke, that's literally his name. Great name. I love Bliss as the middle name. He wrote a book called The 4-Year Career. He's been, someone that's earned tens of millions in network marketing, studied all the companies. He says, you know what? He says the average network marketing company pays about 7% of the total team sales. Well, here's what I can tell you. Organo is above average, even though we can't make income claims. But if you had 10,000 people on your team, each just purchasing $50 a month, that's less than 2 boxes of coffee. If they want soap, if they want toothpaste, if they want hot chocolate, if they want skincare, if they want energy, if they want brain technology, if they want travel, all that can add into it. $50 a month is not much to ask. You take 7% of that, that turns out to be $35,000 per month. And here's what I can tell you. Nearly everybody I know, that will be a very positive impact on their world. And then time, the only resource that we cannot get back. By the time you have 10,000 people, if they just put in 15 minutes a day, and I put that number in just for the ridiculousness, because everybody can find 15 minutes a day, you are leveraging 2,500 hours of activity every single day. Now, I'm kind of a math nerd. I really like numbers, but here's what I'll tell you. If you work 50 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 2,500 hours. Suddenly, 15 minutes of effort magnified over a whole group gets you there. So what does it cost? It costs $49.95 in your choice of products. The company has multiple product packs. They're called accelerator packs because they accelerate your earnings. And if you're real serious about building a big business, you want to build it fast, start with the top level of the accelerator pack called the Boundless Pack. And then Organo has what's called their Global Growth Bonus. And they have it for everybody that starts brand new with an opportunity to earn an extra $9,000 in bonuses. But it also runs a couple times a year, even for people that are existing distributors. So Diane, anything you want to say about any of the money or statistics that I shared there?
I don't know where else in the world. And I say this because it is so true. My sister ran a very successful business in Yorkville, brick and mortar restaurant industry. I've known a lot of business people through her network. I did my own brick and mortar. I've met many people along my years of path. I know nothing in the world that you can build with no skill set, that have the mentorship unlimited to you, that you can build part-time and get paid for the next 20, 30 to 40 years and have a willable asset. Like whatever I make, guys, I can will this out to my son and he can will it out to his grandkids. There's nothing else that exists out there with no risk and no capital. So if you need a launch pad to change your life, what else have you got that's going to radically do that for you if you're willing to put in the effort? That's it. And if you can just be committed to the path, it will radically change your life the way like it did mine. Organo was the launch pad for me to be able to invest, to be able to buy real estate, to be able to get out of debt. But if it wasn't for Organo, I honestly don't know where I'd be right now. And it just keeps getting better and better. So I'll leave you to think with that. What else have you got? Because if you don't, then remember, saying no to something also means saying no to, the life that you're trying to create for yourself. I'll turn it back to you, Dr. Bob.
Yeah, I'm going to ask 4 questions of everybody, and then I'm going to turn off the recording, and then we'll answer any questions that you have. And typically on Wednesdays, we do a team training, and we are invested in a mastermind, but the mastermind took this Wednesday off for a holiday celebration for everybody. So, I trust that everybody's had a beautiful Christmas and looking forward to a great 2023. Holy cow, it's already going to be there. Wow. But here are the 4 questions. So first question is why? Why'd you take the time to join us tonight? There's so many other things you could do. Second question is the answer to the first. Why not? Why not put better products in your body, on your skin, train your brain, save 80% off on luxury travel? Why not? Next question is, why not you? Someone's going to say, this makes a lot of sense. And by the way, the follow-up to that is anything that makes a lot of sense will often make a lot of dollars. And the final question is, why not now? The longer you wait to act on information, the least likely you are to act on it. My son Jacob said yes immediately and created a life where he and his wife and his beautiful girls, they're living a dream existence that very few people ever get a chance at any point in their life. And how about doing that in your early 20s? How fantastic is that? But here's what I'm going to tell you. It's never too early. It's never too late. People all over the world are adding value to so many people and reaping the rewards of doing that. So, get back to whoever referred you to either this Zoom Live, Facebook Live, replay, whatever it is, and say, you know what? I want that better life. Let's go. Let's build. So I will turn off the recording.